it's not just about reciting affirmations to yourself in front of a mirror or listening to a recording filled with a bunch of generic affirmations. You see, there's a science to affirmation work, and I've only seen a handful of people discuss this in their how to do affirmation videos. And these important steps that we're not hearing about are the most important pieces of the puzzle. So let's say you're working on self-confidence. Speaking affirmations to yourself about being confident isn't going to get yourself subconscious mind to say, wow, he or she says they're confident now. I guess I'll believe it. That's not how the subconscious mind works. When it comes to affirmations, it's not just about the words and emotions, which are very important, but it's also about when you are feeding your mind these affirmations. You see, there are two windows each day when your brain is naturally more open to suggestion more than any other time. And this is when you are drifting off to sleep, and your brain enters the state called the hypnagogic state. And then there's the hypnopompic state, which is when you are coming out of sleep, like when you wake up. And in these two states, we have slower alpha and theta brainwaves. And these waves open the door between our conscious and the subconscious parts of our brain. So, in these two states, where you're either not fully awake or you're not fully asleep, is when you are in a suggestible state. I like it to call it the programmable state. These two states are when your brain isn't filtering things out and it starts absorbing things in better, because it's also a time where your conscious part of your mind is taking a break. So it's just your subconscious up front and center. And that's the whole point. We want the conscious part of us out of the way when we are feeding ourselves affirmations. This is why saying affirmations or a powerful statement, just as we are getting into that sleep state, or just as we are waking up in the morning and we're in that hazy state, is so important, because you're not fighting with your logic, with your self doubt of your conscious mind. It's like your conscious mind is on its break and you're slipping in statements, suggestions under the radar, which go straight to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind runs 95% of your life. So when you are in these states that I mentioned earlier, the hypnagogic and the hypnopompic states, these are the brain waves in these states. They're the same brain waves that you would be in if you were in a hypnosis session. So this is a form of self-hypnosis. So a lot of people also do affirmation works and give up because they're expecting instant results in their outer world. Like they want to open their eyes in the morning and they want to see their new reality or their confidence, depending which affirmations they're working on. But what people don't realize is that internal shifts are happening even if you're not seeing or feeling them. There's internal shifts happening behind the scenes while you are being consistent with your affirmations. I know this sounds cheesy, but I like to think of my mind as a garden. So my affirmations are my seeds, and the watering part that we do when we plant seeds, that's the repetition and emotion. it's so important to have emotion as well. I'll get into that in a moment. So the more you water your garden with repetition and emotion is when your mind starts to rewire and neurons start firing differently. So it's very important you stay consistent because you will start feeling subtle shifts. You'll have less emotional reactions. You'll be less triggered by things that used to rattle you. Your decision making changes. You'll be reacting differently towards situations. You'll start speaking your voice. You'll be making yourself heard, setting your boundaries. So it all depends on your affirmations, of course, right? So I've seen people have shifts with repeated affirmations within 1 or 2 days. Subtle shifts, right, between 1 and 2 days. Others can take a week to 2 weeks. It all depends on the beliefs you're up against, and it also depends on how long your nervous system has been living in survival. But make no mistake, even if you aren't feeling it, change is happening in your mind. They have done studies on even a single round of self affirmations and how it reduces stress and how it activates certain parts of your brain linked to self-worth and emotional regulation, again depending on which affirmation was spoken. So make it a habit of speaking your affirmation just as you are falling asleep, and most importantly as well as you are waking up in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, don't grab your phone. Leave your phone alone for 5 minutes. And also, it's important to pick one true emotional statement and turn it into an affirmation. If you have challenges with abandonment, you might want to say, I'm worthy of love. If you are living in fear, you may want to say as I'm safe now. If you are looking to change your reality, you and step into your next level, you might want to say, as I sleep, I'm stepping into a version of me that has stepped in to my new desired reality. Make up your statement. If you have an illness and you want to heal, you might want to say, my body's a healing machine, and as I sleep, my body is healing and rejuvenating. My DNA is recoding. So again, depending on what you're looking to heal, right? It's very important to not be vague with your powerful statements or affirmations. Make them powerful, be clear, but don't overcomplicate them because the subconscious mind doesn't understand difficult affirmations. When I took my hypnosis course, I remember my teacher told me to speak to my subconscious mind like it's a 5-year-old child. Also, when you say your affirmations, you can say them out loud, you can whisper them to yourself, you can internally think them. What matters though is to feel it. Feel your affirmation. Say it with presence. Don't say your affirmation like you're reading out a shopping list. And during these 2 times, as you're falling asleep or when you're waking up in the morning, you want to recite your affirmations anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. I've repeated my statements 10 to 30 times. All that matters is consistency, and that you do, and emotions as well, and that you do it every day and every night, no matter how much you feel that it's not working. Also, try to stick with one powerful statement or one affirmation for minimum 21 to 30 days. One statement is more powerful than 20 scattered affirmations, because the brain likes consistency. But if you find you're getting bored with your statement, you can have 2 or 3 variations around the same theme that your affirmation is about. So you can switch it up every 3 or 4 days. Just make sure it stays within the theme. So if you're trying to heal, you don't want to jump from healing to buying a new car. It has to, you have to stick with the same theme that you're working on. Also, recorded affirmations, if you want to record your own voice, you can do that, but it's not going to be as effective, because a recording sort of becomes a background noise. So if you want this to be more effective, it's better to have it be spoken from you, from yourself, or within yourself. It's more authentic, it has more of a vibration and feel to it than with a recording. So there is more feeling to it when we're speaking it ourselves. So if you've been having, if you haven't been having success with affirmations, try again with these tips that I'm giving you, because as I mentioned earlier, there is a science to this. People have used this nighttime and morning time technique to retrain their trauma responses, reduce pain, shift identity after years of depression or scarcity thinking. It's a very powerful tool when used with consistency and presence. So this, everything I've talked about here today is backed by neuroplasticity, epigenetics. It's science-based. And I do believe in the law of attraction and a lot of what people call woo-woo stuff, but because I'm a Pisces, but I also love the science behind things. And that's basically how I came to be healed of over 20 years of panic attacks and anxiety through hypnosis. Now, not this sort of hypnosis work. I didn't know any of this that I'm speaking to you about today when I was going through my panic attacks and anxiety. So I went right for the hypnosis sessions. I had 6 sessions, and was healed within 6 sessions. But I didn't know about any of this. This is everything I've learned through taking my hypnosis course, which I did not to, when I first took hypnosis, the course was not to heal others. It was more because I was just so fascinated. I mean, I couldn't believe that 6 sessions healed over 20 years of anxiety and panic attacks. And I thought, what else can I do with hypnosis? And it's just amazing what we can do. Our brain, our mind is so powerful, but we have to be in control of it and steer it the right way, or else our minds are just gonna guide us to wherever it thinks it needs to go, and that's not how we should be living. And I learned this all through hypnosis. In a way, I'm kind of grateful for having gone through that 20 years of torment I went through with the challenges I had with anxiety and panic attacks, because I would have never have learned what I know today about the mind. I hope you found this video helpful. Please let me know in the comments below if you've tried affirmations, if you've heard of any of the things I've discussed here today. Please comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Please like, follow, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.